Um, the musical group you see here travels with Srimacharji a great deal throughout the world. They travel with a special kind of music. This music, Srimacharji describes this music as something that reaches the heart. Not that kind of music. Something that reaches the heart of people who might otherwise be deaf to her words. Their name is Nimal Sangeet Sarita, which means a flowing river of musical purity. And that really is what they're trying to do, to give you a river of musical purity that will flow over you and make you more receptive and more easily able to understand what Srimacharji has to tell us. And the man who will introduce you to the members of the group is Bhagavan.
Thank you, and my namaskars to all the people in Canberra. I'm very happy we're performing here. We are very happy that this is the first performance and this is the first public program of Shri Mataji where we have been associated. Without delay, I will introduce you to my artists. On the tabla is Sandesh Popatkar. Tabla is the most popular percussion in India. It is played vertically in two pieces. Next to him is Ashok Thoke, who plays the traditional Maharashtrian percussion known as Nal and also the Dholak. Next to him is Chaya Wankede, who is very melodious and will reach your hearts very shortly. Behind her is Dinesh, who also sings, puts you into meditative mood. And last but not the least is Prabhakar Ali Thakre. The very brief introduction of him is that he is the sheet anchor of the Sarita. He is the undercurrent of the Sarita. And he provides the music, he composes, he's a film music director, he plays the violin, he plays tabla, and also the harmonium, and he sings very melodiously. We are starting our evening's proceedings with a devotional song in Hindi, describing about Sahaj, which you are going to listen to when Shri Mataji comes. During our European tours, we had to visit countries where English was not spoken, because they were non-English countries. And I had to take a translator or interpreter as far as my speeches were concerned, explaining the intricacies and the peculiarities of Indian music. But the interpreter or the translation stopped with my speech. When these people were singing, there was no translation. Because their music is very devotional and has no connection with your mental perception or your thinking. They are addressing your heart, or rather their hearts are addressing your heart. And whatever they create, they want to pour into your heart. The only possibility of you not appreciating this music is a closed heart, which I think is completely ruled out when people have come as seekers. We'll start with a song explaining Sahaj. It says, "Apne dil mein Sahaj ko basaya karo, racheta ki rachna tum rachaya karo." It means that you have this Sahaj settling in your heart, and in the process, help the Creator in re-establishing His own creation. That is the gist of the song. Thank you. composed and written in Europe. This song, as we would say, is top of the Sahaj. I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. You can be involved in this song. There's a little of I and there's a little of woo for everybody. Thank you. calling me the loous. Now, I am presenting before you Sandhya Pandey, who is going to present to you the traditional Kathak dance from India. You may be aware that we have 5 or 6 established styles of dancing, and Kathak has a very important role to play, not only for spreading the cultural values of India, but also because it is an art which both catches your eyes and also goes into your heart directly. It is a very difficult art because she has to perform not only the bhava, which is the facial expression, but also bring out the rhythm, which is known as the laya. She does that with her feet. What she has tied on her feet would be compared, the closest would be a jingle bell. But that is not very appropriate description, because these are known as ghungru, and each ghungru is weighing about 2 kilos. So you can imagine the handicap she has got. But with that handicap, she will be performing the Kathak. Now, Kathak is derived from the word Katha, which means narration. So this dance was evolved in Uttar Pradesh and in Delhi and Rajasthan and was patronized by the courts there because of the grace and also because of the narrative it had. And coupled with that was the dexterity of the feet and the rhythm and the synchronization with the tabla. She will be doing the technical dance. Since we are short of time, we will have to ask her to restrict her dance, otherwise it would have gone on for at least half an hour. She will be doing the dance on a teen tal, which is having a rhythm cycle of 16 beats. Sandesh? Sandesh? He will play the rhythm cycle now. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 1. So as against a rhythm cycle of 2, 4 or 8, it's a rhythm cycle of 16. Now they will improvise on this rhythm cycle, and to talk to you mathematically, they will try to divide this 16 by 3 in equal parts, which I think mathematically is not possible because you'll get an infinite. And they do it so precisely. Not only that, then they go on to divide this 16 by 3 and get a irregular product, which is known as Visham. And then they divide this Visham with another 3 to get to the sum, to get to the original beat, which is known as Chakarda. Now, it is quite involved. If I start explaining, maybe I would not only be taking away the time, but also depriving the pleasure of the experience, of the newness of this dance. So may I present to you Sandhya Pandey. Thank you. May I request the audience to please stand up, Mataji. Arulitesh Mataji.
पाच मिनटं
stay. It should be fixed, otherwise it doesn't stay. It should be fixed, otherwise it doesn't stay at that point. कर म्हणा बस मग त्याच्यानंतर संपून टाका त्याच्यानंतर आता एक कर आणखी त्याच्यात संपून टाका सवाल जवाब बरोबर
her a question by playing particular beats, and Sandhya will bring those beats out from her gungru. Then after some time, she will put her questions to Sandesh. We will reply from out of the beats from the tabla. So very interesting. Time to put the question.
समजा खूप छान तर छान झाला प्रोग्राम छान गाणं बिणं छान झालं सगळं व्यवस्थित बरं ठीक आहे काय You don't like it that way. He thinks it's come in the way. Does it? Does he come? Or not? I bow to all the seekers of truth. At the very outset, we have to know that the truth cannot be manipulated, cannot be created, cannot be conceptualized by your mind or by your imagination. It is what it is and has been and will be. So the truth is very simple. Very simple thing it is. But you have to have a very scientific outlook. To keep your minds open. Because this is the knowledge of the roots. What you see outside and what you know about it is the knowledge of the tree. And should accept whatever I am saying as a hypothesis, and if it is proved, then as honest people you have to accept it. The truth is very simple, that all this universe, this cosmos, is looked after, is nourished, is guided by all-pervading divine power, which in Sanskrit language you can call it as Parama Chaitanya, and in Quran it's called as Ruh. In every great scriptures it is described as a formless energy that looks after, guides everything that is living, works out every balancing of this universe, of this earth. Only at the level of human awareness, we have freedom to choose, because we have to rise to a higher awareness of complete freedom. That is why we commit mistakes. Doesn't matter. After all, we are human beings, we are not gods. So if we commit mistakes, it makes no difference whatsoever for your ascent to that higher level. And the higher level is the second truth, that you are not this body, not this mind, not your ego nor your conditionings, but you are pure spirit. That is what you have to be. This can only work out through the living process of evolutionary ascent. You have become a human being, and now you have to become a higher human being. As a higher human being, you develop a new kind of awareness on your central nervous system. Whatever we have achieved in our evolution, we feel it on our nervous system. Like if you take a dog or a horse through a place which is very filthy, dirty, smelling, it can pass through. But human beings cannot. Human beings have the sense of color, of beauty, of so many things. They have achieved through their evolutionary process. But still, the ascent is necessary because we do not know the absolute truth. Whatever we know is partially based on our experiences and our mistakes. But sometimes we are so self-opinionated that we don't want to say that we have done mistakes, or not do we want to see that we have to seek higher. But there are a category of people, so many of them, which William Blake has beautifully described as men seeking God. It's very simple. The people who are seeking the truth. And these are a special category who become sages. And these sages, he says, will have power to make others the sages. C.S. Lewis has described, all over the world, people have described about these great things going to happen in these modern times. Especially in India, there was the pioneer, or say the one who really the originator of astrology. Bhrugumuni has written a book called Nadi Granth, in which he has described Sahaja Yoga very clearly. And he has said that such a time will come when people will get their realization, Sahaj. Saha means with, Ja means born. Born with you is the right to be united, yoga, with the divine. The modern yoga that we have got is a wee bit of a wee bit. It has nothing to do with reality. To know the reality, to feel the all-pervading power is the right of every human being. That's all is called yoga. And the another word, another meaning of yoga is yukti, meaning the deftness. The deftness to know how to work out this power, and also to know the principles of divine laws. But that is not mentally. It's not mentally. It is on your nervous system. In the Buddhist psychology, in the Buddhist philosophies, is described as bodha. Bodh doesn't mean that you feel it as a kind of a thinkable stuff, but you feel it on your central nervous system. It's not some sort of sensationalization, but it is actualization. That is bodha. Even the word Vedas come from the word Vida. Vida also means on the central nervous system. The reality is to be felt on our central nervous system. Now we have here with us this mechanism built in. In the Bible, it's known as the tree of life. Krishna has also described it as a tree of life which is upside down, the roots of which are in the head. This is the tree of life described in most of the scriptures in different names. Like in Tao, he refers to Yangtze River as Tao, and that Tao is nothing but this Kundalini, which is the power which enlightens this tree of life. This Kundalini is a power which resides in the triangular bone known as sacrum. Sacrum in Latin language means sacred. That means the Greeks knew in ancient times that this is a sacred bone which has something sacred in it. We all have this residual power within us known as Kundalini. Of course, in the modern times, people have created all kinds of myths about the Kundalini, saying it is very dangerous, one should not do this and all that. It's all modern. But in the ancient books, even up to the time of Kabira, they have all described it very clearly. Nobody has said it is dangerous. So maybe that some of the fake ones wanted to create a fear because they didn't want people to know the reality. They must have created this kind of a myth saying that it is dangerous to awaken the Kundalini. But this is the mother, your individual mother, who is going to give you your self-realization. As your mother has taken all the troubles, labor problems upon herself, she takes up all the problems that you have, and you get a very smooth landings as self-realized souls. This has to happen because it is so vital. It is so vital that it has to be easy. For example, for our breathing, if we had to go to the library and read books and do all kinds of things, we would not have existed. In the same way, it is such a vital thing that this Kundalini has to rise. Of course, in the beginning of life, this tree of life had very few flowers. But gradually, now I feel it's a blossom time. There are so many seekers who are seeking the truth, and it is working wonders. In one day lecture, in a program like this, it's very hard to explain everything about Kundalini. As it is, I must have spoken thousands of times, and there must be at least 4,000 tapes in English language alone. I've been working for 20 years to establish Sahaja Yoga all over the world. And now there are 40 nations who have come to Sahaja Yoga. And I must pay full respect to Russians, whom I found to be the best people for spirituality. The best people for spirituality. Whatever they might have been under, whatever might have happened to them, one thing, they didn't waste their time much. They were all very well educated, very solid, sensible, wise people. And the way they took to Sahaja Yoga, I was myself surprised. We just arrived there and they were all in thousands. And how did they manage to get their realization so fast and to establish it? Is really, even the Indians should feel ashamed of themselves. Because this is the heritage of India. This is the heritage of India. But we had 300 years the Britishers ruling us perhaps, so we all have become very westernized perhaps. But I just don't understand that how these people who have never talked of God, religion, thank God for that also sometimes, because religion is also nowadays man-made, has conditioned people too much. And they had no such fake gurus there roaming about. And they just jumped into it. It's such a remarkable thing to see a country so far away, kept away from all the theologies, jumping into spirituality so fast. Even, of course, in India we have lots of people who are Sahaja Yogis all over, I must admit, because after all this is their heritage. And also in India, we should say there are 3 doctors who have done MD in Sahaja Yoga. They have tried to prove that with Sahaja Yoga means the Kundalini awakening, you can get rid of psychosomatic diseases, you get better health. Also, you can get epilepsy and all such mental diseases cured. They have got MD for that. There are 7 doctors in London who are trying to collect all the data about it, and they also want to do their MDs. Also, there's in Cambridge University, there's a gentleman who is already a professor of philosophy, is doing research on Surge Yoga. So, it is coming to the level of the intellectuals and the scientists. But scientists have to go a little deeper if they have to see any structure in a microscope. In the same way, if we have to know about these things, we have to have our self-realization. Without our self-realization, we cannot understand anyone. That's what Kabira said, what should I do? The whole world is blind. What should I tell them? The whole world is deaf. Meaning is that the level of their understanding has not reached that subtle side. And that subtle side has to be tapped. And that is very simple. Nowadays, I have seen that people get realization without any difficulties. In Sydney, in Perth, in Brisbane, of all the place, Cairns. I was so surprised. Another surprise came from Cairns, which was something just like Russia. Something out of the blue, it exploded. Such beautiful people live there, so human, so natural. I couldn't understand how in certain places people are so simple, not complicated, not conditioned, and not arrogant. They have such a simplicity of understanding, and they just take to it so easily. Now, of course, in Australia also we have lots of Surge Yogis who are working it out, but in the early times we didn't have very good leaders who were, I should say, very well motivated towards Surge Yoga, and so it was going up and down, but now I hope it will be again re-established here. But one thing, we should be very honest with ourselves, that if we have to have our benevolence, we have to honest ourselves. If you are enamored by somebody who claims too much, talks too much, and gives you big lectures, and just says, all right, take this mantra, or do this and do that, all kinds of nonsensical things, you first must go and see the person who has been to him. What is he doing? What has he got? Has he got any spiritual powers or not? Or just because he is going to that place, you must also go. Another problem in the West, I find, I must say, is very funny, is that they think that if something is free, then it is nonsensical. It's very, very surprising. I went to Boston and they asked me, how many Rolls Royces you have? So the people told, she doesn't take any money, how can she have Rolls Royces? So we are not interested, it's no business. I mean, God is not a business, and divinity is not a business. This we must understand, that you can't pay for it. How much do we pay to the Mother Earth when she produces all these beautiful things for us? In the same way, how much are we going to pay for our spirituality? Leave alone anything. How much do you pay to Christ? On the contrary, you sold him out. So this is simple thing, which of course Indians understand better, but others also should understand that you can't pay for it. Anybody who asks money for this, you must know, is something very serious with it. If I want you to take some money from you, you won't, because you are self-respecting. The ones who takes money from you has no self-respect. You have retained him, sort of, you are retainers, something like that. And one must understand, this is a very important point for all Western people to understand, that you can't pay for it. But sometimes I think it satisfies your ego that you can purchase your guru. You can't. If you can purchase your guru, he can be your servant, not your guru. This I want to make very clear to you, because this is not understood in the West, because they are used to the systems where people sell out or give money for everything. Now we have here this system which is very interesting and is absolutely nicely put into our being. Below the Kundalini, that is the triangular bone, is the center called as Muladhara Chakra, means the center of Muladhara. Now Muladhara means the support of the roots. And the roots are the Kundalini. The Kundalini is in the 3.5 coil. That's why it is called as Kundalini, because coil means Kundal. Now these other centers are 6 above it. So one thing is sure, that the last center doesn't come into play when the Kundalini rises. So one should understand that all functions of the first center, which caters to our excretions, inclusive of sex, has nothing to do with our ascent. So when the Kundalini starts rising, these functions just stop. All these functions stop. First center it enters into is the yellow center, which we call as Swadhisthana. In a place like Canberra, I think I better talk about this center, because last year when I came, the Swadhisthana here was so caught up that my foot became paralyzed with it. Now the Swadhisthana center, you can see that has got the bile in it, is the yellow one. When we use it, we work out the right side channel, which is the channel of the sun, which is for our future, and also it is for our mental and our physical work. So when we think too much and when we plan too much for the future, which is of course is the thing going on here, so this center goes out of gear. Like I would say, there's another side to it, is another one which is we call as the channel for our emotions, for our desire, and the channel that looks after all our past. This is this center, what we call as the this is the channel, as we call it, as the channel of Ida, or is the channel of moon. So the right side looks after the right sympathetic nervous system, and the left side looks after the left sympathetic nervous system, and the central path is for our ascent, which also caters to our parasympathetic nervous system. That is, we can understand this way, that if we run fast, our heartbeat increases. So it meets the emergency. For all emergencies, the sympathetic nervous system goes into action, and when it goes into action, then only the parasympathetic, the central path, reduces, brings it to normal. That we can't do. We can only play about with the left or the right sympathetic system. That means we can only go to the left side or to the right side. That means we can only go to our past or to our future. But we cannot be in the present. This is our problem. We cannot be in the present. And absolute can only be known in the present, because that's reality. The past is finished, the future doesn't exist. The reality is when you are in the present. But how to be in the present? That's the problem. For a thought rises and falls, another thought rises and falls. And we are jumping on the cusp of those thoughts, but we cannot achieve that state where we are in the present. And that's why we go into tensions, we go into problems. I will show you here, like this is the center, and on the left and the right side, there's the energy moving. Supposing you go too much on the right or too much on the left, there's a movement going on, and there's a constriction in the center, in the circle center. But apart from this constriction, the energy is exhausted. If the energy is too much exhausted, I'd say it's moving on the right, and there's something happens on the left side, something emotional, some accident or some shock, immediately it loses this balance, and as a result you develop a disease which we call as psychosomatic, that includes all your mellitus diseases, where the degeneration of your muscles take place. Also, it includes your cancer, blood cancer, all sorts of these psychosomatic diseases which are incurable. So when the Kundalini rises, she passes through this as well as this, and sort of as if a thread is passed through, and it all gets absolutely in connection with the whole. So there cannot be any malignancy because the connection is established, and also she nourishes that center. As that nourishment takes place, the person gets all right and he feels perfect. This is how Sahaja Yoga works. So it is your own energy within you, it is your own property within you. When it rises, it gives you that power that you get cured. But when it is connected with the means, with all pervading power, it's all the time flowing through you. So even if there's any imbalance, it brings you to balance. Suddenly you also feel all this in all pervading power on your fingertips. In the Quran there is one beautiful surah called Sajda Yoga. In that they have described all about it, that your hands will speak at the time of a resurrection and they will give witness against you. So now we'll today discuss one center which is very important for all of you, I think, because you are all working in the government, and I know what government service is because my husband has been all his life in the government service, and later on he was with the UN. So I know what it means and what happens to them. Now this center, Swadhisthana, as I told you, caters for our physical and mental activities. The function is like that. Now the physical activity may be less, but the most important function of this center is to convert the fat cells for the use of the brain. When we think too much, then our grey cells are used and they are to be replaced. So this replacement takes place through the function of this center, which transforms ordinary fat cells for the use of the brain. But it has some other functions also to be done, which are subsidiary but are very important. So it looks after your liver, it looks after your pancreas, it looks after your spleen, it looks after your kidney and part of your intestines. Now, if we make this center work so hard, it neglects other important functions. So first it neglects is the liver. And the function of the liver is to absorb the poison of the body as heat into itself and release it into the bloodstream. But once this center neglects it and doesn't give energy to liver, the heat in the body remains as it is and it starts rising on the right side. When it starts rising on the right side, it gives you diseases like asthma, because we have another center which we call as right heart. It can also give you a massive heart attack. People don't know it's all due to liver trouble. But somehow, if this liver is clicked by the movement of the left side, then one can get all kinds of allergies and all kinds of problems which are all skin troubles. So when we sit in the sun, it is not the sun that spoils us, our skins, but it is the liver which gets heated up and can't bear any more of that, and that's how you get your skin diseases like skin cancer. Then the second very important organ it has to look after is your pancreas. The function of the pancreas is to dissolve the sugar for the use of the body and give it to the other organs, supply the energy for it because it has the carbohydrates in it. But when this center is so much looking after one side of transforming ordinary fat cells into gray cells. Again, the neglect creates a problem and you develop a horrible disease called diabetes. Now, if you go to the villages of India, you'll be surprised when they make tea, the cup contains so much of sugar that the spoon has to stand at right angles. That's the measure. Otherwise, it's not tea, it's not good. And they take such a lot of sugar, but they never get diabetes. They never get diabetes because they don't think. They just live nicely, earn for the day, sleep off, we'll see tomorrow. But those people who are sedentary, who are working hard, thinking too much, futuristic planning, make their center work only for that purpose, really go against themselves and get this horrible disease called diabetes, which is of course curable if the Kundalini is there to help you. Then the third is even a worse one, which is coming from your spleen. Now spleen is your speedometer, or we say it is the one that keeps the rhythm of life. But in these modern times we have lost the rhythm of life and all the time we are under shock. Something is happening. So much so that without sensationalization we do not feel any existence of our. Like early in the morning you will get up, first you will read the newspaper. Newspaper means what? It's a shock. Somebody died, somebody killed, some mishaps, and now there's a hailstorm, or this and that, something is there. It shocks you, you get worried. Maybe some of your relations are killed, what has happened? So first thing, the spleen goes into a jeopardy because the spleen has to supply the red blood corpuscles at the emergency of like this. Then the second shock is maybe jam on the way. We are time bound. If the time is there, we must reach in time. And if you don't reach in time, as if you are going to be hanged, or there's already an order from the death coming to us, in that shaky conditions we live. All the time under tense conditions that we must keep to time, we must keep to these norms, must do this. And the modern life has made our life so artificial, that supposing you are eating your food. Now you must keep your spoon and fork in a way. I mean, God has not told you that, but it's something sort of a norm that we must have a fork and spoon like that. Now if you have not kept it, then everybody laugh at you. So by chance if you have not kept it, you are in trouble. Small things, useless, absolutely good for nothing, have covered our being as good behavior, as something very, very posh, something very, I don't know what they say, but French will say something, English will say something, and everybody has a different style. And if you do not cope with it, then you are absolutely a rustic person, you have no manners, nothing. You can pass dirty jokes, you can say all dirty things, doesn't matter. That doesn't matter, that's all right. You can drink as much as you like, you can fall on the table, doesn't matter, after all he was drunk, so excused. See, but if you do all these nonsensical things, then you are a gone case. All these things weigh upon us. Now we have to dress up like this, we have to be like that. If you don't dress up like that, this is out of fashion. We do not know in subtle ways that we are playing into the hands of these entrepreneurs who are just befooling us all the time. And that's how this tension, what to dress, what not to dress, you have to be formal or informal, what to do, what to eat, how to call. Even to have a rapport with someone is not easy. You cannot talk to someone on the same level as a human being. See, on the contrary, we think twice, what should I say? We'll rehearse it at home. And then we face the person, we go into complete mess because we think, no, I can't say that. And we start on something else. So there's no relaxed personality. And we always say, I'm not relaxed, I'm tense. But why? Animals are not tense. They live in the same city. Nobody seems to be tense. The trees are not tense. Why are human beings tense? Because they themselves have made this kind of funny cages for themselves, and they think that is important to be like that. So all this leads us to lots of shocks for our speedometer, which is a poor instrument for such a person. And you can't understand what's wrong and it becomes crazy. And when it is crazy, it becomes vulnerable, and then you get a very serious disease called as blood cancer. You'll be surprised that Sahaja Yoga has cured blood cancer of many people. Not only that, but those who are certified, and that's all doctors do in blood cancer, to die within 10 days or 1 month are still there after 5-6 years and doing very well. The reason is this spleen becomes a good shock absorber. Why? That I will tell you later on. Now also you get your blood pressure because of this, because your kidneys are affected, your intestine goes out, so you lead into constipations and things. So all these troubles come out of one problem, that we think too much. Now, thinking cannot be stopped. That's the trouble is. The thinking is coming all the time, invading us. You can't stop thinking. What should we do to stop the thinking? For that, if the Kundalini rises, you reach a state of mind where you are thoughtlessly aware. There's no thought. You are aware, absolutely aware, but no thought. If you want to think, you will think. Otherwise, you won't think. Just you won't think. And you are in that state. That state in Sanskrit is called as Nirvichar Samadhi, which instantly takes place. And the second stage you receive is the stage where we call it as Nirvikalpa Samadhi, means doubtless awareness, where you become absolutely detached, like you are in the water, you are afraid of the water. But supposing you get into the boat, then you can watch the water all right, quite relaxed. But supposing you know how to swim, then you can jump in the water and save people who are getting drowned. In the same way, when that state comes in, where you can jump and save other people and help other people, then that state is called as a state of doubtless awareness. With this, a person becomes extremely, extremely powerful, dynamic. At the same time, such a person becomes extremely compassionate, extremely compassionate. He becomes a person who sees everything, witnesses everything as a drama. He gets out of it and sees everything as a drama. He doesn't get involved into his problem, but he can see his problems very clearly, by which he can solve them better. And such a person then becomes a very good human being, because he becomes righteous. The area you see above that is that green area, is the area where our valencies are, which are 10 valencies. Carbon has 4, we have 10 valencies. And they get enlightened. They get enlightened, that is what is the innate religion within us. Like carbon has 4 religions, in the same way within us are the 10 religions which are called in Sanskrit as dharma. Dharayati sadharma. The one we sustain within us is the dharma. Not that we practice, say something and practice something else, is not dharma, is not religion. The one we sustain within us. And this sustenance takes place when the Kundalini rises, she enlightens them. And such a person becomes righteous. Absolutely righteous. He is not bothered as to what others are doing. He lives with his own righteousness, enjoys it, he enjoys his virtues, and he sees the good point in others. Somehow or other, by his temperament and nature and his magnetic personality, he attracts others and tries to transform them only by his existence. Now, Christ was a very subtle deity, I should say, but a subtle incarnation, because he has said, "Thou shalt not have adulterous eyes." Thou shalt not have adulterous eyes. Now, I would like to know in what Christian nation I should find such people. Even the eyes, because when you become realized, then you'll be surprised, your innocence comes back. Eyes become absolutely steady. And such person, when he develops further, even a glance of such a person can do wonders. Because there is no lust, no greed. You just watch. And watching something is the biggest boon. Supposing I see something beautiful, and then I react as a human being, I have to react. So it is mine, then I'm worried, oh God, it will be dirty, then it's not insured or something sort of a nonsense. Supposing it belongs to somebody, then I start thinking how much she must have paid and how much where can I get it. All these thoughts come to us. But supposing I'm just watching it, then what happens? Like a lake which has no ripples in it, the whole creation reflects into it. In the same way, the joy of that creation just starts pouring on you and you feel so relaxed and happy. You never feel your age. You never feel you're traveling. You are with yourself wherever you are. So all these problems that we have in modern times, speediness vanishes. Not only that, but your family life improves, your society improves, your country improves. It's the benevolence of the whole humanity you can achieve. This transformation is very essential. And I'm very happy that the Russians in the all Western world have taken such a strong step forward. I hope all others will also now little bit think about it, that why not we? Why not we seek our benevolence? Why not we have this? When it is our own power, why shouldn't we get it? Supposing I say that there's a diamond available here free, then not only from America but even from Greenland people will come here. But I say there's a diamond within you, the spirit, why not have it? And for nothing at all, you just get it free, so why not have? This is what should be the attitude of all the people all over the world, I think, but there are certain conditionings which do not help people to get to that point. So we must know we have not achieved it so far, so why not achieve it further? If you haven't got it, why not we do it? It's a time, it's a special time, and we should not miss it out. Not only the people in Russia, but even the government has helped us a lot. I'm quite amazed at the wisdom of these people. I do not know to what I should give the credit, but they are remarkable people, I must say. And a day may come, it might become the most powerful country in the world. I'm really amazed the way they have developed within themselves the depth. There was one fellow who gave me a book which he has written about the mathematical calculation of Sri Chakra. In India, there are very few who must be knowing even what Sri Chakra is. It's very surprising. And this is what I'm telling you here in Australia, which you must take note of. Of course, now your government has done one thing, is to send some people to tape and videotape me and find out and go to Russia to find out how Russians have got it, why we haven't got it. So in this competitive world, maybe it might start working everywhere else, but this wisdom is needed. What are we doing about our life? What are we doing about it? We should find out. Where are we spending our time? Why we are going to miss it? Once you get into some terrible disease, then you come to me. What's the use? You'll be happy to know we had cured one gentleman here of weights, no doubt. His name was Mr. Granby. But he had no willpower. He went back to the same nonsensical habit next day. And then now he's dead. But the other day in Perth, 2 people, husband and wife, got cured of AIDS. So I have hopes about that also. They should have willpower to do little bit of practice of Sahaja Yoga and keep to it, develop it. I'm sure they'll live much longer than that is expected. So may God bless you in this short time. Whatever is possible, I've tried to put before you. I would, of course, like you to ask me some questions for a few minutes, and then we should have this experience of self-realization. That is very important than any of our questions. Because even I'm good at answering questions, and even if I answer all your questions, has no meaning. Because it doesn't guarantee your ascent. What guarantees your ascent is the happening, is the becoming. Unless and until that happens, everything else is useless. So it's not a mental feat, it's more a natural growth within you of that new awareness which we call as collective consciousness. Collective consciousness. That becomes a part and parcel of you, that you can on your fingertips, you can feel the 5, 6 and 7 centers on the left and 5, 6 and 7 centers on the right, your own and that of others. So there is self-realization and also you have the power of collective consciousness. Now even if you know within 1 month's time, you'll find out within 1 month's time that what these things are decoding. If you know what these are decoding, you can diagnose the person, you can help the person, you can raise the Kundalini. You don't need me. It's like one enlightened light can enlighten another light, like that. We can have so many people who can get realization. So may God bless you and may God give you self-realization. I'd like to have questions from you, if possible. Yes.
I have a couple of questions about Kundalini. What do you mean when you call Kundalini a residual power? And also, does Kundalini help to clear your chakras then before you get realization or only after?
What do you mean by Kundalini as a residual power? And does the Kundalini clear your chakras even before realization?
No, it does. It does not clear. And residual power meaning, you see, it's a little complicated thing, but I will say that the whole being is created, all right, by 3 powers within us. One is the power on the left-hand side, which is the power of desire. Another side is the power of action. And the third is the power of ascent, which is in the center. Now, all this has happened, but still one energy is not being used. And that is the energy of Kundalini, which is actually the power of pure desire. Because according to economics, wants are not satiable in general. Today we want to have a chair, tomorrow we want to have a table, then we want to have a house, then we want to have something else, and like that goes on, we are never satisfied. So the pure desire, the power of pure desire is the Kundalini. What is the pure desire? Whether you are aware of it or not, subconsciously, unconsciously, what you may call it, the pure desire of Kundalini is to be one with the divine. This is the pure desire. Until you have fulfilled that, you can never feel satisfied with yourself. Because that's how you know the absolute truth. That's how you become absolutely above all these weaknesses that you have. You become master of yourself. And also, then you jump in the ocean of joy and bliss. No question. It's good idea. As I have told you, that there are 4,000 tapes and they are available to you. You can always listen to them. Only thing here I have not told you, one thing which is important to know is this yellow balloon that we have in our head is the balloon of ego, and the another one is of the blue is the balloon of conditionings in us. The conditionings we have had. So when the Kundalini rises, she passes through this crossing point and she sucks in these 2 things. That's how our karmas, our conditionings are sucked in. But in childhood, when we grow up to the age of 12 years, these 2 grow like that and cover each other, and the fontanelle bone area, which is a soft bone in your head in your childhood, is completely closed. So when the Kundalini just sucks in, it opens out And when it opens out, then the Kundalini passes through your fontanelle bone area and you can feel a cool breeze coming out of your head. We say it's the cool breeze of the Holy Ghost. What is the Holy Ghost also? You have God Almighty and you have got a son. What about the mother? She is the Holy Ghost. She is the primordial mother whom we call in our Indian language as Adi Shakti. In all ancient scriptures like Greece had Athena. Atha in Sanskrit means primordial. Even here, those people who came, they call this river by Paramata is the same. So this Kundalini is a reflection of that Holy Ghost, while Spirit is the reflection of God Almighty. They have to meet, and that's how they get their realization. The fontanelle bone area is opened out and you can feel the actualization of baptism. It's not artificial, it's actualization. You can feel it, the cool breeze. Of course, in the Pentecost, you must have read that you can feel the cool breeze of the Holy Ghost. And that's what you feel on top of your head. We've got photographs where Sahajogis are sitting, and in the photographs you see the light on their heads. As in some of the paintings you must have seen, people having light in their head. In the olden times, when there was Christianity at the level of Gnostics, where they, Gna, also the word comes from the same as Jnana, which Sri Krishna has described as Jnana Marg. Jnana doesn't mean through your brain, but means, again the same Bodha which I told you. No. Same Jna is used by Thomas when he described Christianity in his treatise. On his way to India, he wrote all these and put them in Egypt, and which are found out. And now you can get that book as Gnostics. Is important to read because he has flouted all these ideas of sufferings and things. He's written everything about Sahajog. He said it's an experience of the self you must have. Like Christ has said, you are to be born again. So we certify ourselves. How can that be? In Sanskrit language, a born again person is called Dvijaha, means born again. And a bird is also called as Dvija, means it's an egg and then it becomes a bird. In the same way, first we are human beings and then we become sages. This is the second birth we should have. But we have to become. It's not just certificate. So everybody thinks no end of themselves. The other day somebody asked me, questioned me, Mother, why there are quarrels among religions? Because they are not following what their originators have told them. They are just following some sort of a man-made religion. That's why there's problem. Because all religions are just the same. Born on the tree of life at different times. And these flowers were plucked by people saying, this is mine, and that's why they're fighting. These are dead flowers. These are not living flowers. They come from the same source of spirituality. Christ has said, those who are not against me are with me. Who are those? In 4 years, what could he do, Christ? It's an impossible situation. How people were cruel to him. I was struggling with 7 hippies, very well-educated hippies in England for 4 years. So you can imagine, I must give full credit to Christ, at least he could say so many things about reality. Should we have a there's some there's another gentleman.
Do you think that consciously trying to like raise your kundalini or something like that can stop you from doing this? If you just relax things that you want to happen will happen rather than trying to make them happen?
Sorry, I didn't get the last half of that.
That things will happen more when you're just relaxing rather than you're trying to make them happen.
In relation to Kundalini?
Yeah. Like if you're sitting there thinking, I want to raise my kundalini, it's not going to happen, but if you're just relaxing, it's more.
Could get a little. Could get a little, but the full is one.
He's saying, wouldn't it be better just to relax instead of trying to think, I'm raising my kundalini. Wouldn't things happen better if one just did it from a purely relaxed point of view?
I think you're a little confused about it. You haven't yet seen it, what happens, all right? After the experience, you talk to me about it. Then you'll be all right. It's a little confused. See, to say that, you see, as I have told you, one light can enlighten another light, all right? In a general way, I must say that today's Sahaja Yoga is something very tremendous because it works en masse. Just works out en masse in thousands of people. So must be you are also special, I must say, or also these are special times, and also that the divine is anxious to give you realization. All these three things put together. But of course, I'll tell you how to raise your own kundalini as well as your kundalini will rise. It will take hardly 10 minutes for the whole thing. But one thing is sure, I cannot force on you. I respect your freedom because you have to get your ultimate freedom. So I cannot force on you. You have to ask for it in your own free will. That's very important. It cannot be forced.
How do we go back and raise that kundalini? Saying, how do we go about it, which is of course what you're about to show us. I was asking, how do we go about it?
That's what we are going to do. That's a very good question. That's the best question. All right. So if you are ready, then I have to tell you that there are two conditions. The first one is that you have to forget the past in this world. Forget that you have done any mistakes or so-called sins. And you have to say in your heart that you are not at all guilty of anything. If you were guilty of something, you would have been in jail. So you are not guilty. After all, you are human beings, as I told you, and you are capable of mistakes. But the divine has a great power of forgiveness. And any mistake can be forgiven. So first condition is that you have to respect yourself and to forgive yourself and not to believe at all that you are guilty. It's very important for self-confidence. Everyone can get realization. But firstly, one should not feel guilty. It's a myth. All right, the second myth is that we cannot forgive some other people. Some people say it's very difficult to forgive others. But whether we forgive or don't forgive, we don't do anything. What do we do? But if we don't forgive, then it starts working in our minds, working in our temperaments, and we play into wrong hands unnecessarily, while the person who wants to punish us is perfectly all right, in good health. So this is a myth and we are playing into wrong hands. So we have to say, I forgive everyone. Now you don't have to think whom you have to forgive, what wrong he has done, how far you have to go, nothing. You just in general you have to say, I forgive everyone. It's more important in a place like Canberra. Because I know, in a place like this center works very hard. Thinks too much, this center. And it's important to stop thinking. You have to say, all right, I forgive. Just go and forgive, and you get to it. See, I am quite used to people who are bureaucrats. I know their situation very well. And when I know them better than anybody else, I should say. So, I have to tell you really very frankly, forgive everyone and also you know that you are not guilty. Because they are always told you have done this mistake, that mistake, that mistake. And also, out of jealousy or whatever it is, people trouble them. Then they cannot forgive. So, better forgive everyone, forget everything, and be here absolutely free from all those nonsensical worries. Will be a good idea. Only by doing these things, you will be completely free, I tell you, to receive your realization. Now we have to take help from the Mother Earth. For that, we'll have to take out our shoes. Will help us a lot. You just take out your shoes. Some people want to come further, can come further also. It's very far away. It's all right, makes no difference wherever you are. And if I have said something that makes you feel guilty, forget my lecture also. It's important. So that means, in short, that we have to be very pleasantly placed towards ourselves. Prasannachit. In Sanskrit he said prasannachit. Must be pleasantly placed towards ourselves. You have to put both your feet little away from each other because they represent your two energies. So put them on two sides. Children will get their realization without doing anything. They are very good. But they are not complicated. All right. He'll show you what is to be done. You can see that, and after that we'll take out our spectacles and close our eyes, and then the real awakening will take place. Please put your left hand towards me, like this. This putting the left hand represents nothing but the desire to get self-realization. And the right hand we have to use for action, and we have to place it at different points on the left hand side on our centers. So first we put it on our heart. That's very important because in the heart resides the spirit. Again I'll say, in a place like Canberra is very important because they work so hard, think so hard that the heart becomes weak. So it's better to place your hand on your heart. You should put it under your coat, would be a better idea. And now take down your hand into the upper portion of your abdomen on the left hand side. This is the center of your mastery. This is made by many great teachers, masters, sadgurus, and we have to awaken it so that we become masters of that. Then you take down your hand in the lower portion of your abdomen, and press it hard. Now this is a special center for pure knowledge which has to manifest on your central nervous system. Then we take back our hand in the upper portion of our abdomen. Then take it on our heart. Now this important is that you have to put your right hand in the corner of your neck and your shoulder, from the front, not from the back side. Now this center is very important because this is the center which catches or when gets spoilt when we feel guilty. So turn your head to the right. It's very important. And this center when is spoilt, you get diseases like spondylitis, angina, all kinds of funny diseases with a lethargic lung and lethargic heart. Now, you take your right hand and put it across your forehead, like this, and put down your head as much as you can, and press it hard on both the sides. This is the center for forgiving others. Now, take back your hand, same way, on the back side of your head, and push back your head as much as possible. This is the center for asking the divine to forgive you. Now here you don't have to feel guilty. You don't have to count the mistakes you have committed for your own satisfaction. You have to ask the divine to forgive you. Then you have to stretch your hand, right hand like this. The palm is stretched properly and the center of the palm is put on the fontanelle bone area, which was a soft bone, on top of your head. And now it is to be pressed. Put down your head. This is important now that you push back your fingers and thumb fully. Please push them back properly so that there's a good pressure on your scalp. And now move your scalp slowly 7 times. Move your scalp slowly 7 times clockwise. Clockwise, slowly, with a pressure. That's all we have to do. That's all. Nothing else is needed to be done. That's all. Now you can take out your glasses if you want. If there's anything tight near your neck, you can little bit loosen it. If there's anything tight on your waist, you can loosen it a little bit. And you have to be relaxed. You don't have to bend forward or backwards too much, but sit in a proper straight manner. That's all. Now remember to put your feet on both the sides. And put your left hand towards me, please. And the right hand now is to go on the heart. Now please close your eyes and don't open them till I tell you. That's all. Now here, when you put your hand in your heart, where resides the spirit, you have to ask me a very important question. You may call me Sri Mataji or Mother, whichever suits you. And this question is like as if you are asking a computer. So now ask a question in your heart, not openly, not loudly, but in your heart. Mother, am I the spirit? Ask this question 3 times. Mother, am I the spirit? Ask this question 3 times. Now, take down your right hand in the upper portion of your abdomen, on the left hand side. One must know that if you are the spirit, you become your own guide. In the light of the spirit, you know the absolute truth. So you become your own master. So now ask a second question. Mother, am I my own master? Ask this question 3 times. Mother, am I my own master? As I told you, I respect your freedom and I cannot cross over it. And I cannot force pure knowledge on you. You have to ask for it. So now please put your right hand in the lower portion of your abdomen on the left hand side and ask me, Mother, please give me pure knowledge. Mother, please give me pure knowledge. Please ask this 6 times. 6 times because this center has got 6 petals. Please, Mother, give me pure knowledge. As soon as you ask for pure knowledge, the Kundalini starts ascending. So we have to now nourish our upper centers with our self-confidence. So now raise your right hand in the upper portion of your abdomen on the left hand side. And here, press it hard. And say with full confidence 10 times, because this center has got 10 petals. 10 times. Mother, I am my own master. Say it with full confidence. Mother, I am my own master. Now, we have to know that the divine is the ocean of knowledge and love, pure love. It is the ocean of peace and bliss. But above all, it is a very powerful open ocean of forgiveness. So, we cannot do any mistake which cannot be dissolved by this powerful ocean of forgiveness. So please raise your right hand in the corner of your neck and your shoulder. Push it back as much as you can towards the spinal cord. And now put your head towards right. Now here, with full confidence, you have to say 16 times. Mother, I am not guilty at all. Please say it 16 times. Mother, I am not guilty at all. Please say it 16 times. Again, I will tell you that it is a myth when you say, I cannot forgive people. Whether you forgive or you don't do anything. But if you don't forgive, you really torture yourself for nothing at all. So please remember that it is all a myth and you are not going to carry on with it anymore. This is very important because this center is very constricted one and you have to help your Kundalini to rise through it by really heartily forgiving everyone. So now please raise your hand to your forehead across and please put your hand in such a manner that you can press it on both the sides. And now put down your head fully and here please say, Mother, I forgive everyone. Now it's not necessary how many times. You have to really say it from your hearts. If you don't say it from your heart, this center won't open. This is the gate. This is the gate for the limbic area, for the Kundalini rise. So please, I request again and again to say, Mother, I really forgive everyone. Now don't think whom you have to forgive, what mistakes they have committed. Just say it out of just understanding that your realization higher than anything else. Now, take back your hand on the back side of your head and push back your head as far as possible. Now, this is the center for you to ask for forgiveness for your own satisfaction. Without feeling guilty, without counting your mistakes, you just have to say, Oh Divine, if I have done any mistakes, please forgive me. That's all. For your satisfaction. Don't count your mistakes. Now, stretch your hand and put the center of your palm on the soft bone which is called as the fontanelle bone area. Press it hard and move it 7 times. Here again, I cannot cross your freedom, so please say 7 times, while moving your hand, Mother, please give me my self-realization. Now, please open your eyes and put your hands like this. Now put the right hand towards me like this and bend your head and see for yourself if there's a cool breeze coming out of the fontanelle bone area or the soft bone that you had in your childhood. In Sanskrit, it is called as Brahma Randra because Brahma means the all-pervading power and Randra means the hole leading to it. Now see for yourself. The hand should be little away from the head, above it, not on it. Some people get it very far also. Now, the left hand to be used now. Put the left hand towards me, higher like this, bend your head and see for yourself if there's a cool breeze coming out of your head. Now, again the right hand. Now see for yourself if there's a cool breeze coming out of your head. Once for all. Could be higher. Now, raise your both the hands and push back your head and ask a question. Mother, is this the cool breeze of the Holy Ghost? Mother, is this the all-pervading power of divine? Or Mother, is this the Parama Chaitanya? Ask any one of these questions, any one of these 3 times in your heart. Please ask. Push back your head and ask the question 3 times. It's done. Raise your hands fully. Fully. Push back your head. Don't miss the point. Please don't miss. Push back your head. Now, please bring down your hands. Just put the hand like this towards me and see if you can be without thoughts. If there's no thought. Now those who have felt the cool breeze out of the fontanelle bone area, sometimes can be hot also, some heat comes out, doesn't matter. But you feel the breeze. Or on their fingertips, on their hands, please raise both your hands. Those who have felt it, please raise both your hands like this. So I will know. Like this, yeah. There are wonderful people here, I must say. Such a lot of you have got realization. May God bless you. But now, this is the beginning. You have to come to our centers where, of course, you don't have to pay anything, but little bit time you have to give and master it. You all can become masters. And there won't be any more problem of ill health or any problem. And I would like to meet you all if you want to meet me just now, because I am going away tomorrow, and this is the last day of my work in Australia, and next year I'll be again back here. But you are all welcome to India. We have a nice tour program and also a seminar at the end of it. So if it suits you, you can, or you are all welcome to come down. You all can come and see me if you like. I'm sorry I'm only here for one day, but next time I'll be here for quite some time. And I hope I'll be able to see you grown up like big trees now, like a seed you have sprouted now, and this seed has to become a big tree. May God bless you. आइए, आप कहाँ से? इंडिया से आए? जी। अच्छा, बड़ी खुशी। यहाँ संभालिए, ये सब आपकी चीज़ है, ये सबको देने की। आपके पास तो इतनी चीज़ें भरी पूरी, सारी दुनिया आपके चरणों में लौटेगी। इसको तो करना चाहिए। अब दिल्ली में बहुत काम हो रहा है। दिल्ली में बहुत लोग हो गए पार, बहुत से लोग हो गए, और काम बहुत ज़ोरों में हो रहा है। आशा है सब जगह हो जाए। आपका शुभ नाम क्या? हाँ? चंद्र मोहन। और सरनेम? हाँ? बजाज? भंडारी। भंडारी। अच्छा। चंद्र मोहन भंडारी, बड़ी खुशी है आपसे। आइए, नमस्ते। आपका क्या नाम? तहसीन। अच्छा, कहाँ से आया?
पाकिस्तान।
वाह, पाकिस्तान के बहुत से लोग, कमाल के लोग हैं पाकिस्तान वाले, ऐसे पार हो रहे हैं। क्योंकि मोहम्मद साहब ने ये बात करी हुई है कि ऐसा ज़माना आएगा जब आपके साथ ये चीज़ होगी, उसको पाना चाहिए। अब आप वली हो गए। अब लेकिन इसको बढ़ाना चाहिए, बड़ी खुशी की चीज़ है, मज़े में आ जाइए। इन लोग से कहें तो एक कव्वाली गाए आपके खुशी के लिए, आप खुश होइए। एक कव्वाली बना बाबा। बेटे,
मैं कीनिया से।
अच्छा, आप कीनिया के, तो हो तो गए आप पार, और क्या चाहिए? चाहे कीनिया के हो चाहे कहीं के हो तो गए, आप परमात्मा के राम साम्राज्य में चले गए। बस दोनों।
We've got some Saraj yogis here who may be able to help you. There's probably a little blockage in your subtle system. So if there's anybody who didn't feel anything or would like to try, if you'd like to come over here, we can work on you.
No, you'll feel it just now.
This,
It's of course.
would you like to give
This
information
here
about
too.
your courses tonight?
You forgive, you didn't forgive. That's the problem. Is you just forgive. इसको जरा हटाइए. You just forgive. If you don't forgive, then I can't help you. You have to forgive. All right? Forgive. Now. Okay? Or you just say, Mother, I forgive it. Just say this. Sort of thing I was telling you all the time. Forgive is very important.
Do we practice this every day?
Evening, everyone.
No, they will tell you. It's not so much time. Just 2 minutes here and there. It's very simple.
You will
Just
attend
once see them, they'll tell you.
first
Two
one
masters
starting
in no time.
Friday
Next
the
year I will
23rd
see
of March
you.
at the club room at the Playhouse Canberra Theatre Centre, Civic Square. The program will begin
Felt
at
it?
7:30.
From what country?
The next one will be Thursday the 29th of March,
Oh, Turkey is doing so
and
well.
then
You have heard about it?
Thursdays of the 5th and 12th of April,
Government has recognized
also
this.
starting at
Turkish
7:30.
people are wonderful. You have lots of.
We have an enrolment form
Not
outside,
very much.
just outside the door on the desk if you want to fill it in and
Also,
hand it to
people here,
the person at the desk.
you get the address of people in Turkey, so that you can meet them.
And also
You got
a
it.
leaflet about Sahaja Yoga.
I tell you another
Which is-
thing
which
that
is
I
free.
often feel that pure desire.
One other thing, the course is
Makes me feel
absolutely
proud.
free. There's no charge.
Are there? Now you found it.
Thank you.
It's there. All में चीज शुरू हो जाए तो फिर क्या करें? कोई बात हो तो चिट्ठी लिखिएगा हमको. आपका शुभ नाम?
कुंती नंदन.
कुंती नंदन. वाह वाह वाह. Kaunteya. Yes. So how are you? You got it? Yes.
Thank you.
Because you are a seeker. You are a seeker. It's your right to have it. You got it. Now you meet these people. All right. And you're going to serve. You're going to master it. Right? What's your name? Nikki. Those who have not felt can come this side. We'll work it out on them. Those who have not felt it. So, yeah.
I've been trying to make me fat. So I started psychology like 4 months ago, and I've really been looking forward to meeting you. Thank you.
My name's Pat. This is the first time I've been. I went came with my wife, and I found it really interesting.
It's good now. That's what you are.
Sarah and Elizabeth.
But now you must practice.
Yes.
That's important. Don't neglect it. See, it's so easy that people
All right.
start. Oh, I'm
So Mataji has asked us to sing the Kawali. We have our friends here. The Kawali, the most important thing is the clapping, the style of clapping.
कहिए. हो गए पार?
I was born in Australia.
Really? Ah.
And your
What
vocal
language?
cords have to go free. Then only you can sing the Kawali.
But you are from what
So we
family?
would like you to participate also.
My mother was is Tamil,
Tamil?
and my father's Punjabi.
Good. Very good combination.
Mother, I'm a medical student.
What do you think? See, if you talk to doctors, they know something about medicine. God also psychology. What's your name? Archana.
रज़ाक रहमान या खुदा रब के बंदे नाम खुद गर्ज में लेते हैं राम राधा रघुनाथ रमैया बोले काफी ना पड़े नमाज तो रुसवाई होगी बोले पंडित ना गए मंदिर तो रुसवाई होगी बोले पंडित ना गए मंदिर तो रुसवाई होगी बोले उस्ताद बगैर ट्यूशन के ना पढ़ाई होगी बोले उस्ताद बगैर ट्यूशन के ना पढ़ाई होगी बोले सब्जी बगैर बहस के ना सगाई होगी बोले सब्जी बगैर बहस के ना सगाई होगी बोले बीवी ने दूध जरूर ना लाई तो महानाई होगी बोले बीवी ने दूध जरूर ना लाई तो महानाई होगी बोले पुलिस बगैर रिश्वत की ना लिखाई होगी बोले पुलिस बगैर रिश्वत के ना लिखाई होगी बोले आईन जो खिलाएगा उसकी सुनवाई होगी बोले